Hello guys and welcome to another MK Mobile character review, today featuring Fire God Liu Kang. As usual guys, please note the date when this video has been recorded because a lot of things may have changed since then, and if you're not familiar with the matrix I'm using in order to evaluate characters, you can find it on the top right corner of the screen. So without any further ado, let us put Fire God Liu Kang to the test. Fire God Liu Kang, guys, was released on the 11th of July 2021, and yeah, he was never part of the old store because he was released years after the old store ceased existing. Anyways, let's take a look at his stats. His attack is 59,724, which is the third highest in the game. The hit points there are 107,520, which is the 8th highest in the game. The toughness is 47,251, which ranks 16 in MK Mobile, and the recovery is 54,810, which is the 5th highest in the game. The power generation is 120%. I would say that he has decent stats, not the best, but definitely not bad. So for his stats, Fire God Liu Kang is going to get 23.5 out of 28 possible points. Okay guys, it is time to talk about Special 1 of Fire God Liu Kang. And right off the bat I'm kind of confused. Is this the main weapon of Fire God Liu Kang, or is it his special 2? His passive, let's face it, his passive benefits his special 1 most of the time. At 1 stack of his passive he gets fire debuff on his special 1, at 3 stacks he gets additional mini hits with additional damage, and at 5 stacks he gets again additional mini hits and additional damage. Of course he has to score over 80 and over 90% of the mini game respectively, which isn't really that difficult, especially if you want to score over 80%. Anyways, let's take a look at the special 1 of Liu Kang in more details. First thing first, the ability can be completely blocked by the opponent. Once again, it has conditional fire, so I won't be giving the full set of points here. It can be cast from distance, though you have to be careful. After one of his combo enders, Liu Kang sends the enemy long range away from him, and if you try to do special 1, it will fail, so you have to be careful. In addition, the special attack is lethal. At 1 stack or 0 stacks it has 6 mini hits, it has 7 at 3 stacks and 9 at 5 stacks, and it has a single tap circle as mini game. When it comes to damage, the minimum damage of the ability is 15,451, which is the 47th highest in the game, and the maximum damage is 30,904, which is again the 47th highest in the game. Of course, we have to take into consideration the fact that the more fires you apply on you or the enemy, the stronger the damage you will get of this special ability. Once again, special 1 of Liu Kang can be completely blocked by the opponent. It has conditional fire as debuff. It can be cast from distance, it is lethal, it consists of 6 to 9 mini hits depending on the stacks of his passive, and it has the single tap circle as mini game. So for his special 1, Fire God Liu Kang is going to get 7.7 out of 13 possible points, but I believe it will be fair to give it 1 extra point for the simple fact that at 5 stacks this special ability deals insane amount of damage. And unfortunately I really don't know how much more than what is written on his card, but still I am convinced that 1 extra point will be fair here. So the final score for his special 1 is going to be 8.7 out of 13 possible points. Special 2 of Fire God Liu Kang, guys, is called Flying Dragon Kick, and here it is what you need to know about it. First thing first, like his special 1, this ability can be completely blocked by the opponent. It has fire this time as debuff, which is guaranteed. However, if you manage to go to 4 stacks of his passive, you're going to get shield break, which is kind of okay. However, I have 2 issues with this thing. The first thing is that, of course, you need to go to 4 stacks in the first place, which is going to take a lot of time. And the second thing is that in a lot of cases you won't require the shield break because the enemy will die anyway, so it is kind of an overkill, but still I'll be giving half a points on top. In addition, the special attack can be cast from distance without any issues, it is lethal, it consists of 5 mini hits, and it has the single tap rectangle as mini game. When it comes to damage, the minimum damage of the ability is 55,185, which is the 7th highest in the game, and the maximum damage is 110,370, which is the 4th highest in MK Mobile. In other words, if the enemy does doesn't block this ability, it is game over for him. Once again, the special attack can be completely blocked by the opponent. It has fire plus eventual shield break as debuff, it can be cast from distance, it is lethal, it consists of 5 mini hits, and it has the single tap rectangle as minigame. So for his special 2, Fire God Liu Kang is going to get the solid 14.5 out of 19 possible points. The Fatal Blow of Fire God Liu Kang is a true gem. It is gorgeous, it is fabulous, it is one of, actually not one, it is the best, the absolute best looking Fatal Blow in the game in my opinion. What you need to know about it is that first thing first, it has fire as debuff which spreads on the entire enemy team, and it can be cast from distance. When it comes to damage, the damage of the Fatal Blow is 134,651, which is the 7th highest in the game. Once again, the ability can be cast from distance and it has fire as debuff. So for his Fatal Blow, Fire God Liu Kang is going to get 3.7 out of 4 possible points, and the total amount of points he gets for his special attacks adds up to 27 out of 36 possible. Okay guys, it is time to talk about Fire God Liu Kang basic attacks. I will start this part of the video by saying that his basic attacks are very good but not great. And I will start with the positives. He has Block Breaker, which is part of his passive. That's incredible, he doesn't need to use Block Breaker piece. However, if the enemy manages to block it, because let's face it, the chance he gets to break the enemy's block isn't really huge. So if the enemy, after all, resist his attacks, then Fire God Liu Kang is a lot of trouble, because he has kind of slow recovery speed. It takes him some time to take back his nunchaku, and by doing so, he is left really vulnerable for counterattack. Another problem I have with his basic attacks is even if you send the enemy long range away from you by doing combo ender, the problem is that if you want to follow by special 1, in a lot of cases special 1 will fail because the enemy is too far away from you. That's not really great. In other words, I don't find his basic attacks to be smooth enough. They feel like they have nothing in common. They don't feel like they're part of one whole thing. They feel really strange. I'm not saying they're bad. He's a good fighter, but definitely not one of the best fighters in the game. And even though his passive gives him Block Breaker, I am kind of convinced that you have to give him an extra block breaking piece, because he's really left extremely vulnerable for counterattacks if he fails to break the enemy's block. And that's kind of annoying. So I'll be giving him 8 out of 10 of his basic attacks. He is one of the better fighters in the game, but definitely not the best. Okay guys, it is time to talk about Fire God Liu Kang's passive, and before I get to it, I just need to let you know what it does. It is called Dragon Fire, and I quote, "Each time Fire God Liu Kang is affected by Fire Dot or he applies Fire Dot to an enemy, Liu Kang slightly heals and gains 1 Dragon Fire, permanently increasing his total health by 5%. Additionally, the more Dragon Fire acquired, the more powerful Fire God Liu Kang becomes. At 1 stack of Dragon Fire, his special 1 has fire, 2 stacks, 50% damage boost, basic damage boost, 3 Dragon Fire, achieving 80% plus on Bicycle Kick, extends the attack dealing more damage, 4 Dragon Fire, his special 2 now has Shield Break, 5 Dragon Fire, achieving 90% plus on Bicycle Kick special 1, extends the attack a second time, dealing even more damage, 7 Dragon Fire, 200% basic damage boost, and that's not all folks. Elder God teammates have a 25% basic attack unblockable chance, and their special attacks has a 50% chance of being assisted by Liu Kang Fireball that applies Fire Dot. Now, what do I think of this passive? Like never before, I will start with the last part of it, and supposedly this is the part when Liu Kang has block breakers in his basic attacks, and also he gives block breakers to the Elder Gods. Now, if you wanna use Liu Kang in a diamond team, this part of his passive is almost useless. I'm saying almost because it is not a total waste. I mean, I would always take Block Breaker for free. But the thing is, 90% of the diamond characters that are Elder Gods, they don't require block breakers. And those characters are Classic Raiden, absolutely no need for block breaker. Injustice 2 Raiden, no need for block breaker whatsoever. Bounty Hunter in Black or Black Dragon in Black, no need for block breaker whatsoever. The only Elder God character that requires block breaker to be effective is MK11 Raiden. But why would you ever use MK11 Raiden with Fire God Liu Kang? MK11 Raiden can be used in an MK11 team. Because, I mean, it is true that Fire God Liu Kang will support MK11 Raiden, but MK11 Raiden will not support Fire God Liu Kang in general. I'm not saying that it's impossible to use those two guys in one team, but it is highly improbable. In a lot of cases, you're going to have better options. So, in a way, the second part of his passive isn't that great. Now, what's good about it is that he can assist by setting enemies on fire while tagged out. That's pretty cool, though the damage of this fireball is non-existent. Currently you're seeing me testing it with Liu Kang that has Corrid Blade with Rat Hammer, so basically he has the best items to boost his attack, and the damage coming from the fireball is non-existent. The good thing is that he's setting the enemies on fire while tagged out, and thus he's stacking the passive bonuses. And you can see now my Injustice Raiden set enemies on fire 3 times thanks to Dragon Fire passive of Fire God Liu Kang, and when he tagged in, he will start the fight with 3 stacks of his Dragon Fire. That's probably the best thing about his passive, in the sense that it makes him a better support. Once again, the 25% basic attack and blockable chance is good, but it's not extremely useful for the Diamond Elder Gods, because, as I already mentioned, they don't require one in the first place. However, the ability to support their attacks, even at Fusion 0, is something that I really like. And now, after we talked about the last part of his passive, let's take a look at the middle part of his passive, the Dragon Fire stacks. There is one very good thing about it, and one very bad thing about it. I would say that the buff on his special 2 is almost useless, because his special 2 is deadly. Almost, let's say 99% of the diamonds will straight ahead die, even at full HP, if you manage to land a clean special 2 on them. So the shield break is not really that great, as long as it doesn't spread. If it actually spreads on the next enemy, that would be cool. I never tested it, to be honest, but I don't think it should be the case. So, based on his passive, a lot of people will say it will be better to play Fire God Liu Kang based on his special 1. And I will agree with this statement only if you have a lot of good equipment. And that's the biggest drawback of this character. He requires you to have great equipment. If you do have amazing equipment, then he is extremely fun to play. Just tag him in, do X-Ray, and then you have 5 stacks of Dragon Fire. And in order to do that, of course, you need certain pieces of equipment, certain tower pieces, but once you have them, it's a walk in the park. Also, give him Nunchaku and he's going to get to 5 stacks in no time. But if you have just started the game, then I would advise you to go for his special 2, because it's really difficult for you to stack those passive effects. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's really difficult. How are you going to do that if you don't have anything that sets you on fire, for example? Because his special 1 doesn't have fire in the first place. So in order to activate his passive, you need to go to his special 2, or you need to keep him tagged out and pray to be lucky so that you can assist another Elder God. So in other words, if you have the items, that's great, you can play him both with his special 1 and special 2, it doesn't matter. But if you don't, then I would advise you to play him only for his special 2. It's going to be enough. And this leads me to the last part of his passive, which is the healing and the 5% increase of maximum health, which is just okay, nothing great there. And I'm not saying it's not useful, but I'm just saying it's not a game changer. It feels just okay, it doesn't feel overpowered. And last but not least, this guy is a fire god. He must be immune to fire. On top of that, he must be healing on fire, he must be gaining power if set on fire. Why the developers decided that the fire god should be power drained by fire? Why did they decide that fire should damage him? I have no clue, but he must be buffed. Hopefully in the next update, he must be made at least immune to fire. After all, he is a fire god. And with all that said, it is time to give you my final verdict of the passive of Fire God Liu Kang. Once again, the drawback, it is really item dependent. If you're a new player, you can't really take advantage of it. Also, it doesn't work against bosses like at all. Even if you take Classic Raiden, for example, his passive doesn't work against bosses, but at least the part of his passive when he can get supported by other characters, thanks to the fact that he can join all classes, is pretty useful. In this current case, The only thing that this guy gives against bosses is unblockable chance, which is good, but once again, the other Elder Gods don't really need it in the first place. So I'll be giving it 19.5 out of 20 points. He's just a dual class character, so he gets 2 points for classes and 0 points for attack. Okay guys, it is time to decide whether Fire God Liu Kang is a good character, and as usual, let's start by taking a look at the bigger picture. He has kind of okay stats, he has very good special attacks, he has very useful passive, unfortunately it doesn't work against bosses, his basic attacks are okay, not the best in the game but definitely good, and he is a dual class character, so in general I would say that he is very decent diamond card. On top of that, I have to mention the fact that every time when I play with him, he definitely feels unique and fun to play. However, in order to achieve that state, you need to have a lot of items which in the general case people don't have, and that's unfortunate. Once again, I will mention the fact that this character is extremely item dependent. If you have certain items, he is a god. If you don't have those items, he is very strong, but you cannot really exploit his potential to the maximum. Let's call it this way. But anyways, I really love playing with him, so I'll be giving him 3 out of my 3 subjective points, and with them he's going to score 84 points sharp, which means that he ranks at number 10 on our current standings, and he is tied with Guardian Terminator. He is just above the Red Jade and just below Hellspawn Scorpion. So the final verdict for Fire God Liu Kang is going to be amazing character. And now it is time to take a look at your final verdict. So, what is your final verdict on Fire God Liu Kang? Before we get there, I just want to let you know that if you want to vote, you can do so in our Discord server. You're going to find a link in order to join in the description of this video. So, feel free to join and vote for the next coming review. With that said, the average vote for Fire God Liu Kang was 8.61. 122 of you voted. And of course, the highest vote, as can be expected, is 10. And the lowest vote was 5, with majority of cases people voted with a 9. And one more thing that I believe should be mentioned, a lot of you said that they don't want to vote because this character is new, they haven't played with him, or it is too early to vote even if they have him, so I really respect that, but I wanted to do this review as soon as possible so I can see how you will rank this character in his first weeks in the game. So, at the end of the day, according to the matrix, this character scored 84 points, which means that he's an amazing character. According to you, he scored 86 points, so again, he is an amazing character. This is a very rare case where the matrix and your votes are actually almost the same. I mean, let's face it, they're actually the same. The difference is 2 points, which is perfectly understandable. What I have to mention is that Fire God Liu Kang ranks second in your rankings. Currently, he is above Circle of Shadow Sub-Zero and below Strikeforce Johnny Cage. And it will be really interesting to know what will happen in 1 or 2 years' time, because I'm literally doing this review 1 week after the release of the character, and not all of us are familiar with his mechanics and everything. So, for now, you voted with 86, but it will be really interesting to know what will happen in a year or 2. Anyways, the final verdict is amazing character. Okay guys, it is time to talk about the gameplay of Fire God Liu Kang. First thing first, as usual, is he a good opener? It is really early to tell since the character is on for a few days, but I reckon that he will be an okay opener if you can get a lot of stacks of his passive very fast. Some people are still running Blazes Life Force, so you might get 1 stack of fire for free, and if you also have Blazes Life Force, this will help. And in addition, his special one is cool, so the character has good synergy with the Devastator. So in general, I would say that he's a decent starter, probably not the best, but very decent. So yeah, feel free to use him as your opener. When it comes to the characters that he counters, he's pretty good against any character that sets people on fire, such as, for example, MK11 Scorpion. Fire God Liu Kang really loves fire, and basically any character that can set him on fire, that's pretty cool. A classic Liu Kang Special 2 can set him on fire. There's many other options, many other characters that have fire on Special 1 or Special 2. So basically, our guy loves fire. When it comes to the characters that counter him, it's really difficult to say, but I reckon that MK11 Jade is going to be a difficult matchup, because it will be really painful for him to get stacks on his passive against her, and even if he sets her on fire, she can heal on it, and that's pretty annoying for Fire God Liu Kang. Because after all, it doesn't make any sense. MK11 Jade can heal on fire, but Fire God Liu Kang cannot heal on fire. Just horrible. Alright guys, we got to the equipment. This is the easiest part for me. I would say that if he is your opener, he definitely requires Devastator. Devastator will be working pretty good on him. And Moloch Ball and Chain is pretty cool if you're working on his Special 2. I know that Moloch Ball and Chain gives you additional chance for Special 2 to be for free, but a lot of people forget the fact that Moloch Ball and Chain gives you a blockable chance. And it also increases the little hit chance, which basically means that Fire God Liu Kang can deal tons of damage on his Special 1 as well, because Special 1 of Fire God Liu Kang has tons of mini hits, and the little blow chance is applied on each of them. So at the end of the day, if you have 4 or 5 little hits in a Special 1, this will guarantee that whoever you're facing will be no more. And even if the enemy tries to block your Special 1, the unblockable chance is applied on each and every single one of the mini hits, which basically means that sooner or later you will be successful in breaking the enemy's block. Now, I mentioned in my passive part of this video that this guy relies on a lot of pieces of equipment that are tower related, and I'm sticking with it. Very good pieces for him are the Hellfire Blade. The first thing, every time when he tags in, he sets himself on fire and he sets the enemy on fire. That's already 2 stacks. He also is pretty good with Champions Nunchaku. He's also pretty good with the Scorpion Epic. I forgot its name, the one that sets the enemy on fire if you're blocking. I believe it was Spectral Burning Vengeance. Basically this is it. He's also great actually if he can do a straight ahead X-ray. He's very good with any equipment that gives a lot of starting power, because if he starts with an X-ray, then all you have to do is stack him in, and that's 3 stacks of his passive instantly. Alright guys, we got to the teams. Of course, Flaming Fist, Fire God Liu Kang should be teamed with Elder Gods, but I believe the best Elder God that should be working with him is Injustice to Raiden. Classic Raiden is also an option, but Classic Raiden has no chance of supporting Fire God Liu Kang in general. And there is another character that I believe has pretty good synergy with this guy, and this character is called Shokan Warrior Kintaro. It sounds crazy, and I wouldn't really use him if I have maxed out accounts, just mine, but if you are starting the game and you have a copy or 2 of Fire God Liu Kang and you're wondering because you don't have any other Elder Gods, Kintaro works okay with Elder God Liu Kang because he makes sure that Fire God Liu Kang doesn't take a lot of damage from fire, and once again, in a lot of cases you have to set yourself on fire, or you want the enemy to set you on fire, and Kintaro kind of reduces the damage you're going to take because you're burning. And another character that's pretty cool with Fire God Liu Kang is Hellspawn Scorpion. Reason being, if you can manage to start with 3 bars of power, that's incredibly awesome, because 1 fatal blow, for one thing, you're going to kill whoever is facing you, and you're going to get 3 stacks of your passive, and you're going to set the entire enemy team on fire. That's pretty cool. But once again, it's really early to say now which are the best teams for him. Once again, Elder Gods, pretty cool. Hellspawn Scorpion, pretty cool. And if your account is in his infancy, then Kintaro is also a good option, because once again, it reduces the negative effect that fire has on the Fire God. Okay guys, Fire God Liu Kang, what do you think of him? Do you like him? Do you dislike him? Please let me know in the comments. Once again, he scored 84 points and we labeled him as an amazing character. As usual guys, if you want to see more reviews, you can find the playlist on the right top corner of the screen. See you next time, guys. Take care and stay safe.
It is my duty to serve Earthrealm.
Well done.
Perfect.